joining me at the start of a 9 to 10 hour drive, I believe. And we're in the Mack R, the extended Mack R with the sleeper attached to the back. And this is powered by a Cummins NTC Big Cam. And that's available in the Steel Productions engine pack. In addition to this, additional sound today is provided by the Z-Mods Mack R sound pack. Let's go ahead and just get my cruise control set up here. But the engine is from the Steel Productions engine pack, the engine sound effect I should say. And yeah, it's a very pleasant evening. In fact, it's bright, which is nice. It's always good to see. Let's switch to the external view. The new night mode, or the new night vision that SCS introduced in version 1.49 of American Truck Simulator is absolutely stunning. I love how this looks. It looks way better than my driving third person, that's for sure. So yeah, what's not to like other than my driving? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get the hammer down. Let's get this thing up to 65 or possibly even 70. We have a bit of a timetable today, let's see. So it's reckoning 8.5 hours to get to my destination, which is just under 500 miles. Keep steering left, David. And we've got 17 hours to make the trip, which might include a night stop. So there shouldn't be any time pressure. But I do want to get my hammer down. I do want to get there. Reasonably speedily. Now, the more sharp-eyed of you will also know that this cargo is a disc harrow. That is not a British greeting. It's an agricultural piece of equipment, but it's showing us double weight. I'll put a link down to that mod in the description below. But this allows you to hold some pretty chunky cargoes. The double weight here literally does mean, well, normally this cargo would be 13,000 pounds, but for today's trip it's not, it's 26. Can't really see it so well, at least at night, but that's okay. We'll get to see it in the daylight because, yeah, we've got a sort of an 8-hour trip. It's just gone 2 in the morning right now, which means that all in good time, it's actually just gone 3. What do you know? That hour change is a killer, right? And so we should get to see this in the daylight. Purpose of today's drive, I felt like a bit of a run through the countryside at night, and what better to use than the Mack R, which has been a little neglected the last few weeks. I'm catching up with this traffic. I'm going to go ahead and kill my cruise control. Got the truck. Oh, what the heck's that? The heck is this? I mean, yeah, we're in Nevada. Don't get me wrong. Did you guys see that? A couple of floating orbs. They've gone now. I'm actually going to move over for this traffic to run into anything. Okay. So much for making good time, but I mean, what the heck was that I've just seen? There we go. You guys are seeing that, right? Gotta love FCS. I wonder if this guy here who's parked up. Let's jump back in the cabin and put my window down. It's not making a sound, is it? Let's find out. Not a sound. Okay. I guess I should probably report this to the authorities. So I'm going to get a move on. So let's go ahead and go. Okay, well, so we've seen the UFO. That's pretty spectacular. Okay. And it's going to nerf my chances of, well, it cost me 20 minutes, give or take. I guess I could park up here on the right and just sort of investigate. What am I going to do? I'm a trucker in a Mack R. I maybe been sniffing diesel too much. Okay. So yeah, the purpose of today's trip is a nice little run at night. We wanted to just enjoy the Cummins NTC. I very recently added 20 engines to the Steel Productions engine pack, and that's split between the Cummins L10, the Cummins NTC Big Cam, which is what we're using today, and the Cummins KT. There's 20 engine definitions, most of which have a pretty good number of miles of just testing, and that's a good thing, because when I put together an engine, I really don't want it to feel underbaked. I want it to perform well. I want it to shift cleanly and smoothly under a whole variety of different circumstances. Now, admittedly, I don't test with this super heavy haul stuff. It's got my cruise control coming up to a stop sign, but there's a bit of engine brake going on here. Yeah, so if you watched my live stream middle March, I guess it would have been a week ago by the time this video gets published, but if you watch my live stream, I attempted to do a haul of 222,000 pounds using a Mack R, and that didn't quite go to plan. The main reason why I didn't go to plan, well, the reason why I didn't go to plan, not the main reason, is user error on my part, because in an attempt to remove a weird reflection on the dashboard that the Mack R sometimes suffers from, I removed mods, and that caused the game's navigation to reset, and when that happens, it removes your current job. So we did a bit of a start into that trip, and then I had to, well, then it was abandoned for me. So yeah, that was disappointing, and that was completely on me, because I should have known better. Using this transmission today, it's an Eaton-Fuller 9-speed with a 411 final drive. So it's not massively short. 55, as we see now, is about 1400 revs, and I've told the cruise to get me back up to 70 miles an hour, and we'll see how well it gets there. This engine is the Big Cam with 365 horsepower and 1320 foot-pounds of torque. It's one of the torquier Big Cams. Its highest rating is, I think, 1420 foot-pounds of torque. I should know, I've lived and breathed them for a while. So 1320 is a pretty decent number. It's pretty comparable with modern stuff. This engine does need to be revved more than an ISX, especially, or an X15 especially. And so this is why we're hunkering along at sort of 1750 RPM, throwing this thing around. Yeah, we really are throwing it around as well. But I mean, it's cruising at 70. I witnessed that my instantaneous mileage has dropped, or as the number's gone up, but the consumption's dropped. 12, 10, that means we're going downhill slightly. 20, most definitely are. 99, it's cut the power completely. Then it's going to drop when we climb the hill. You can hear the turbocharger whistle as it spools up. So 4.5 under full load is reasonable. Hey, we're catching up with traffic ahead of us. Let's go ahead and kill the cruise control, I think. Back onto resume, but if I'm catching up with this traffic, I don't really think I've got the power to go around to overtake. So yeah, let's set cruise at, I guess, about 60. This traffic may be doing 55. It looks like a cement mixer. Yep, and an SUV. So chances of me overtaking, I would say a minimal this side of a highway or an interstate with 2 lanes or more, but I've got plenty of time. speed, although that said, I think I may want to reduce the speed for this, this left-hand corner we're coming up to. Just letting the truck coast along right now. Okay, let's turn the cruise on at this speed, so 52, give or take. Colour today is that slightly pale orange. Whoa. It's not the most flattering light, but it's a fairly pale slug colour. This might be coming up to some what we Brits would call dual carriageway. And maybe I can go around. Oh, good grief, the cement mixer's torn off. Right, well, I've tapped up a bunch of times. What's my cruise at? Let me see. 62. Okay. And the speed limit's dropping to 55, so that's a shame. I'm not going to catch the cement mixer now, and there's a good chance it'll hold me up a little bit later. But hey, it's fine. Oh yeah, dropping to 35. Let's get on the service brake. Brake. Off the engine brake. So the 365 Big Cam, it's not the most powerful engine in the range by a long stretch, but it does have a pretty healthy torque output. I'm not going to say it's my favourite Big Cam, but it's certainly up there. It's a bit easier to drive than some of the lesser torque models. Right, we're just coming up to looks like Las Vegas. Gonna tap up a bunch of times on my cruise control. Let's put it back to 70. And yeah, Viva Las Vegas. It'll be light by the time we get there, but it's the thought that counts, right? On the left, we just passed an aerobatic stadium. There was no flying going on, I don't think. I don't know whether I want to... Yes, I do want to take this exit, I think. Or do I? Yes, I think I do. It looks like we take this exit, but stay in the left-hand lane. The lane splits. Oh, I'm in the wrong lane already. So, okay, that was lucky that car was not coming this way. I totally ruined don't go over a solid white line rule there. Oops. But yeah, this Mack R is, I would say it's flying along, but it certainly feels performant. And Macks have a certain charm with the Mack engines. Okay, it's getting away from me a little bit there, right? Okay. I'm flying along now. But we want to be a little bit more careful, I think. I don't think a Harrow is a fragile cargo. Let's take a quick look at the cargo. Can we see it? Oh yeah, there you go. That looks like it would cause some damage if it hit someone. Yeah, that looks very unpleasant. It's got sharp, the metal pointy bits. Looks like something out of a horror movie. We'll not be messing with it, but if I can keep the speed limit, that's going to help progress immeasurably. Left here, 65. We're not quite there, but we're flying along it. This feels quick. It looks quick as well. Have I gotten so used to the Mack 300 and 350s just not being that quick, but being amazing machines for hauling? I don't know. Time for a quick drink. Centered to my lane, and this is one of my favorite stretches of road in the entire game. It's a very good benchmark for how well a truck will perform as well. I normally don't start this part of the highway at 65 or even 55. I've usually had to accelerate up that on-ramp. So I'm going to let the speed bleed down to 55. Like so. And we'll see how well it copes with 93. Is it I-93 or US-93? I'm not sure the nomenclature, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so we're shifting down 1. The Eaton-Fuller 9-speed is found in the real Eaton-Fuller transmission mod pack, and this gearbox, it's configured as an 8 plus low, or an 8 and low ratio. So right now I'm in 7th gear. If low were to be 1st gear, this would be 8th gear, but it's 1 down from top. This is the direct drive gear, I believe, and the next gear up is the overdrive gear. So there's a fairly big difference in revs. Yeah, we go from sort of 1800 to 1400, give or take. Maybe it was close to 1900. Speed's getting away from me a little bit down the hill. It's about to go up to 65, so I'm going to bend that speed limit. Yes, Doug. We want to keep my inertia as we enter Arizona. Quick check on my time. What are we doing? So 4.5 hours left in the drive. 8 hours left in today's shift. So this is looking really encouraging. It looks like I'm going to be early, and that's not always good, but it's usually welcome. And there are times I'm going to bring that speed down. I think this isn't. I don't want to be speeding. There we go. There are times when I will role play when I have to arrive within the arrival window. So if I'm a couple of hours early, I got to find somewhere to wait just a short distance from the delivery point and then take the cargo there at the appointed time. I'm not going to do that today. If I get there early, I'm going to drop it off early. And right about now, I think we will. Right, how well is it going to cope with this gradient? So far so good. It's bleeding a little speed. And I expect it to drop a gear, but we might get away with it. Usually, by the time you're cresting it, it's going to be dropping a gear. And I say usually, depends very much on the engine, very much on the truck, and on the gear ratios. But it looks like this little, it's not that little, it's a 14 litre. Looks like this Big Cam is doing just fine. Yeah, it's back up to 65. We only lost a couple of miles an hour. Okay, I would say I'm happy with that. Maybe I should have taken the heavier cargo after all. There was a much heavier cargo I could have taken. That was like 75,000 pounds from memory. A different story there. But yeah, this is tackling this load pretty well. There's a weigh station that will come up to in just a few miles. It'd be interesting to see what the gross weight of this is going to be. I can estimate it to be somewhere around about 65,000 pounds, and that's based on 28,000 pounds for a cargo. Let's suppose it's 14,000 pounds for a trailer, so that gets me 40, and then the truck is probably close to 20,000 pounds, I think. So that's 60,000 pounds, but it may be less. We may be able to find out. I may get a bypass. But I think I'm going to look dodgy, so they're probably going to pull me in. Yep, there we go. Alright, so get on the engine brake, encourage a downshift, like so. Maximizes our engine braking effort, and again, there we go. Okay, I'm off the service brake now. Another encouraging downshift. That was a little harsh, but hey, it worked. Got my speed down to 15. Prepare the display for the weight check. There's a bit of wheel cam action, I think, going on here. You should try some roof action. Yeah, not the best viewpoint with this particular truck. Okay, so it's got me down to low. Let's see. Wants me to stop. I probably won't need a stop, but okay. 59,404 foot-pounds, or foot-pounds. So yeah, it's just under 60,000 pounds. It's a little lighter than I thought it might be, and it's still 20,000 pounds shy of what we might reasonably log on the back of this, which means a 46,000 pound cargo should be within my 80,000 pounds limit if we're going to stick to that. Of course, we don't always stick to that. Okay. It will also depend on the trailer that you use as well. Some of the low boys, the trailers are 20,000 pounds just by themselves, and clearly, if you've got one of those, your cargo you can carry is restricted. Is this a low buy or a flatbed? It's a flatbed. Okay. They're quite a bit lighter. Rolling up to this intersection like we own the road. Wow. Beautiful classic truck. If I see one of these on the road, and I don't think I've actually seen one yet, but if I see one, I'll be very happy to have seen it. Especially if it's either bright yellow or orange. Yeah, what a weird little agricultural piece of equipment. I didn't really need the wind deflector for this trip. I could have just not bothered going with a flat roof. What time is it? I don't need to use that display. I can actually use that one, so it was 8:30. Average has gone up to 5.6 to the gallon, and let's stop for the light. Given I have not been hanging around, I've not been deliberately trying to maximize my efficiency, by sort of sticking to 50, 55. We've put it up to 65 and 70 where we could. So 5.6, 5.7, 5.8, anything more than about 5 is probably good going for the Mack R. It's also a fairly light cargo, and I know that helps. Brake off because I think we're going to get to go soon. We're going to want to be going left. Yeah, I'm going to end up getting stopped at the other light, I'm sure. Not much of a drive shaft rotation. We've got a little bit of one, but not so much. Okay. So we expect the cabin view. Let's do this. Yep, I've got to wait for the next set of lights. Oh well. And any second now. I don't know if this filter goes independently to the 2 main green lights. As we'll find out in a little bit. Any second now. This is the longest light ever. There we go, and it's separate. Okay, so I gotta get on the power pretty early here. And keep it planted because this is quite a steep gradient. I've got to lift off because there we go. Otherwise, that's going to hit that pole. All right, so that's full power. Let's see if it's going to do it. Try it and see if I can hit resume. No, I'm not. You got to be doing 20 miles an hour to use the cruise control, but I would have done it. But yeah, tap resume now and let it do its thing. Okay, that was quite an impressive way to climb that ramp. I certainly tackled that with engines with a lot less torque, and you're hobbling up it, doing sort of 10 to 15 miles an hour. You reach the top, and thankfully you don't have to merge left almost immediately, but that's a good job. Because if you're going that slow and traffic's doing 65, which seems to be the recommended minimum in some highways, I'm just saying, then you're putting yourself into danger. Let's just check the air horns. Yep, they work. And the normal horn as well. Yep, that works as well. Whoa. Thank goodness the steering wheel works too. Now I'm going to see if I can push it to 75. I think we can, yeah, we should better do a break from a gearing perspective. But it's whether we'll be able to get to 75 and hold it. I'm going to say yes. Because even going up this hill, we've only lost a little bit of speed. States Verde, and is it Arizona, Utah? That was more talking to myself. But hey, the speed limit is 75 in Arizona, and we can hit 75 and hold 75. I'm going to do it. This is going to be a little hard on mileage. So what's that? Nearly 1900 revs. Okay, let's look at my fuel consumption right now. That probably says everything I need to know. At 4.5 miles per gallon at this speed, I think I'm still accelerating or trying to get to 75. That's going to hurt my economy, but it's going to help my average speed. It's going to help the time. So I want to just keep at it. In fact, let's bolster it. 3 miles an hour on the down slope to see if it helps me get on the up slope the other time. What I've done is I basically told the cruise, hey, get me up to 78. Because it's going to lose speed going up the hill. But that little bit of extra speed will convert that speed into altitude, into height as you climb the hill. Cruise is now tapped back down to be 75, so it's not going to accelerate back up to 78. And that 3 mile per hour window, one would hope, is the speed at which you'll not get busted speeding. Now really, you wouldn't do this if you set your cruise at the speed limit. If you'd set your cruise at say 70, let it go up to 75, 73, and let it bleed off as you go up the hill. That extra input energy as you go down the gradient, you don't get it back when you climb, but it helps. But yeah, we're still trying to get to 75. Doesn't want to go much above 70. Let's just relax this to 70. I guess 72. We were right there, and I think this Volvo is going to get upset if I pull in front of him. Okay, I think he's behind me now. Okay. Yeah, I can hear the turbo sort of spooling up and spooling down as we cruise. Let's jump back to my trip computer to show my mileage. So 5.5 when I'm under load. I did see a 5.6. Let's put the cruise back down to 70. So we're almost cruising. There we go. Start to cruise now. 5.3. Yeah, it's not spending a long time cruising before a change in gradient causes the engine to have to produce more power. Okay, instantaneous is 6.5. And I think I'm catching up with this white car ahead of me. Okay, here's an exit coming up. Okay, let's get on the engine brake. Let's tell the world we're turning off. Let's force a downshift. It takes me to 1900 revs, but it's quite happy with that. To another downshift. Takes me to 2100. Still happy with that. And then, of course, we're using gravity to help me slow down. Let's get off the engine brake. Okay. A little bit abrupt stopping there, and I can't really see left much. I think we're clear. Okay. Works for me. Alright. It's going to be 65 here. Tap resume on the cruise. I love to use resume. Less so in my car. One of my vehicles had if you tap resume, it would take you back up to the cruising speed without going crazy. The current one can, but doesn't always, but in the game, you kind of have to go crazy to get up to your cruising speed. That seems to be what these things are designed for. Unless you want to take a week to reach your cruising speed. Besides, I mean, when it sounds like this, who doesn't? Interesting to do a back-to-back comparison of the Mack EM6 range of engines, especially the EM6L, the deliberately low revving engines. I need to get my engine brake soon, yes I do. With the Cummins formula, because the formula is the Cummins answer to the high torque rise engines. Okay, on the service brake. Looks like we're going to get through this night. Yeah, let's get off the engine brake, it'll be fine. There we go. Wonderful. It doesn't happen often that you come to some temporary lights and they go to green when you approach, but when it does, it makes me feel like I've just won. I'm going to get my headlights off. I don't think I need them right now. And this hill's a killer. It must be real steep if the Prius is getting away from me. But again, it didn't really need it. Well, it didn't need to downshift. It was very happy to go up in 6, and it did lose a bit of speed. But as the engine speed drops, so the amount of torque the engine's producing gradually increased, and that seems to have helped it climb that hill. So I'm very happy with that. It's recommending 55 for this stretch of road. I'm going to kill the cruise and just let it coast into it. That's not a sharp corner, we've actually got to turn left. This is a stop sign as I recall, so I'm going to let it coast down the hill. Bit of engine brake I think. Yeah. Doug's saying to turn left, we figured that. Tell the world we're going to turn left, encourage a downshift. That's the shift in command. You can map that to keys, or you can use buttons on your controller and probably on a steering wheel as well. It can transform how well you enjoy the automated transmission in a truck. Because like there, you can program the engine to downshift with the engine brake, but it's not as consistent as upshifting. So sometimes if you hint and you tell it you want to downshift, whoever designs the engine can set various parameters, and one of those parameters is the recommended engine speeds for when you're using the engine brake. Now, that doesn't mean that the transmission will attempt to put it at the minimum or the maximum point when you're braking. Okay, I just hinted shift up at that point because we were exceeding 2,000 revs. So yeah, there are times when you may wish to help the truck slow down by hinting a downshift, and that can help an awful lot. So for an engine designer, one of the options that you have is, do you wish to have the transmission automatically downshift when you're using the engine brake? And that's something that I use with caution. On the one hand, it can make a huge difference to the braking effort from that truck. If you have a smaller engine, I was too busy talking and not getting enough attention. Okay, that's better. Yeah, if you have a small engine, especially if it was a fleet truck and it's going to be used with an automated transmission, it's quite common to have I understand it's quite common for the transmission to want to downshift, and that helps you maximize your engine braking. The faster your engine is spinning, the harder your engine brake is going to work for you. I didn't really stop there, I'm sorry. But against that, it's not always the most smooth. It should be, but it may not be. It's also noisy, and it can result in you get a delay when you start to use the engine brake. So you push you turn on the engine brake, or you toggle it on, or whatever it is that you do, and the engine brake will immediately take effect. But it's only a split second until the transmission says, right, I got to downshift. And it drops you out of gear, puts you in the right gear it's going to use, and then puts you back in gear. Now that might be a second. It might be half a second. But it means that you lose that little bit of time where your engine brake would normally be taking effect. Yes, you, as the driver, should compensate and adapt for that, but sometimes we just don't. Yeah. Right, well, we've arrived, so I'm going to go ahead and see how well we did, but that trip went a lot smoother than I thought it would. That engine really seems to suit that gearing, and actually to suit the Mack R, so I'm very happy with that. That was a lot smoother than I thought it could have been. It's an interesting comparison to try this and some of the Mack E6 series engines. That may be a future video. Meanwhile, hope that you enjoyed today's video, and if you have, you know exactly what to do. And if you didn't enjoy it, just also let me know, because I need to know these things. Thanks ever so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.